talk about all the games happened on Saturday, November 27th. The first game went to two overtime. The Timberwolves beat the Philadelphia Sixers. Embiid returned after I don't know how many weeks he was out. He looked fine. For the Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards played 47 minutes. Counting stat looked really good. Took 21 shots, inefficient as always. 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals, and a block. I mean, the defensive stats are coming in. The assists, the rebounds, just providing everything across the board. Efficiency is his only issue. If he pounding turnovers and field goals, he's really good. 19 points as well. D'Lo went off again, probably a sell high, 35 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds. And again, like D'Lo provide good counting stats, but efficiency-wise, pretty poor. Very low field goal, not a great free throw shooter, and a lot of turnovers. But good points, good threes, good rebounds. Good assists, and some defensive stats. I mean, he did a bit of everything in this game. If you can get him for a D'Lo, let me just see his rankings in the last couple, So when you make the trade, 42nd ranked player. If you can get him for a top 40 player, obviously do it. If you can, like if you get him plus him for Bradley Beal, who's still struggling, if you can get him for, let's see, in the last 2 weeks, if you can get him for like a Miles Turner, that type of player, I think that's also worth it. Overall, Miles Turner provides a lot more value. But again, if you trade D'Lo for Miles Turner, you obviously get a lot more blocks and a little bit more rebounds, but you lose out on points, threes, assists, steals. But those are the trades that you could think about doing. Because D'Lo is playing so super well right now, you could look to make some type of trades. I don't think it's gonna sustain, to be honest, on this team. Karl Anthony Towns actually fouled out, had 6 fouls. Same thing with Jared Vanderbilt. Cat, pretty good game, 28 points and 10 rebounds, 3 should be a top 5 player rest of the season. Jared Vanderbilt, he's a must roster. 36 minutes before he fouled out in, I don't know which overtime period, but he did foul out. 14 rebounds, a steal and a block, 5 points. He's a huge rebounder and, decent steals as well. But again, he makes 0 threes, he doesn't really score points. If he pounding those 2 categories, he's great. Taurean Prince started in just the 31 minutes, while Malik Beasley, he was hot, the past 2 games. Now, provides you nothing. He's just a streamer, to be honest. This game, Taurean Prince starting, got the most minutes. For the Sixers, Matisse Thybulle, 29 minutes, had 3 steals and 5 rebounds is nice, and 6 points is decent. He was a minus 12, while Danny Green was plus 11. So at the moment, all the other starters play 40 minutes. I think Matisse, because Danny Green's got that hamstring issue, so his minutes are being monitored. I think at some point, Danny Green's gonna start playing more like 29 minutes. And I don't know, Matisse Thybulle would get consistent. Like he was getting 35 minutes a night. This game only 29 minutes, with the game going to 2 overtime. I think he probably goes back to 25, 24 once Green is back and healthy. So obviously everybody knows he just gives you steals and blocks and nothing else. He was providing you. He's basically averaging. If he played 35 minutes, he would average 3 steals and 1.5 blocks. Right, that's super huge. But I don't think he's gonna average that minutes. So if you can make a trade, go to in categories, find that league mate that really love those defensive stats. Some big man team like they're already strong. Hey, you trade away Matisse Thybulle, you get other categories back. So that's some things I would look to do. And I think his minutes probably won't be at the 28-29 range. Tobias Harris, 17 points, 9 rebounds. Yeah, not the best game, but play high minutes regardless. And Joel Embiid went to the free throw line 21 times, had 42 points. What a monster game from Joel Embiid. He's been underwhelming all season. This is obviously really, really good. The high minutes looks like condition-wise, he was okay with out for 3 weeks. Still a buy low, to be honest. After this game, it will be hard. Seth Curry, 46 minutes, 3 threes, 14 points, nothing else. And Tyrese Maxey. With Joel Embiid back, you would expect him to use it to take a hit. He still took 15 shots, 15 points, a block, 9 assists, still okay. But like, again, like if you can get a top 40 player for him, top 50, absolutely do it. Counting stat wise, he's not really providing much. Just a lot of efficiencies. Danny Green, 22. This is a bug from the NBA. 21 minutes and 60 seconds. It should be 22 minutes. 4 steals. Like he's been getting a lot of defensive stats, so I will be okay streaming him or rostering him. I think his minutes gonna push up slowly, but hamstring issues are tough. Like if he got hamstring tightness again, I would imagine him just being down for the season. That's when Matisse will get more minutes. Hamstring issue for older guards are not good. The next game is the New York Knicks beat the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks won on a roll before this game, but they lost. They're still, the 7th and 8th seed, the Knicks and the Hawks. The Knicks, they were without Kemba Walker. Maybe that's why they won. They were without Derrick Rose as well. Alec Burks started to play 40 minutes. Kemba's going to come back. And D-Rose, we don't know. So Alec Burks, if you can't get him for any value, do it. He won't be playing 40 minutes. Play good. 23 minutes is an obvious stream for the day. 23 points, 2 steals. Took 17 shots. He could have played better, but either way, pretty good game from him and Evan Fournier. With everybody else, he still got 20 minutes, and Mena quickly got the 30 minutes. So, come on, guys. Evan Fournier, if you cannot sell him, it's time to drop him. Man, there's no point holding on to him. With everybody out, he played just 20 minutes. So we know what his role on this team is. Mitchell Robinson, 27 minutes. The block numbers are not coming back, it looks like. Just 1 block and had 4 personal fouls. Just got to be, what are you going to do? Just got to hold. If you really hate this guy, try to sell him. Julius Randle, 3 for 14, 8 points, 11 rebounds, and nothing else. Julius Randle has not been good. Last year, he was super good, super consistent. I thought he was going to run out of gas. This season, in the beginning, he had a few good games, and now but they still got the win. So probably a buy low for Julius. The counting stats he provides pretty good. The points, the rebounds. So I would like to buy low. RJ, 31 minutes, 15 points and 7 rebounds and nothing else. Not a must roster, but could stream him for some points and rebounds. But again, even with RJ, the minutes are not consistent. Only Julius Randle get consistent 30 minutes. And we look at the Atlanta Hawks. Kevin Harden, the minutes is super high. I think needs to be rostered. And then this game, Bogdanovich was out. Cam Reddish was out. Left the game mid-game. So that makes Kevin Harden a must roster. But we shouldn't expect him to give us some crazy values. Play high minutes, just 1 steal, 8 points, and nothing else. He will have good games like this, given 35 minutes a night. John Collins, 12 minutes is super high again. So I think with Bogdanovich and Cam Reddish out, like the other starters, like big man, they will get a few more minutes. They just got to play the starting lineup a little bit more. John Collins, decent game, still at 3 blocks. If he can consistently bring up a bit more counting stats, defensive stats, he can push into that top 20 or 30. He's already a top 50 player pretty comfortably due to his crazy efficiency and some blocks. But a bit more steals, a bit more blocks would really help. Clint Capella continue his crazy. He was struggling beginning of the season. Lately, he has picked up. He's a sell high, but he's an 8th ranked player. But like the category he's providing is very unique. No threes, no assist. A little bit points, steals and block. He's been bringing a bunch. This game again, 1 steal and 3 blocks, 21 rebounds. The rebounds are back up again. In that 14-15 range like he was last year. The minutes is pushing up. I don't know if it's because due to Bogdanovich and Cam Reddish being out, but he's been really good. Trae Young, 33 points, 7 assists. Just Trae Young numbers. Good points, good assists, but the defensive stats are lacking. And his field goal has not been that bad, to be honest. Trae in the last 2 weeks is 14th ranked player. He's shooting 51%. So a sell high for sure. If you can get him back for a top 15, 10 player, overall value wise, he's not going to be as good as guys like Jason Tatum. But if you look at the category, if you're punting a few categories, then the value become close. If you're punting turnovers, all of a sudden he's in that. So you gotta look at your team and see which. But Tatum's field goal is just as worse. Tatum's field goal is probably worse. Trey has been playing fairly well. Let's look at the next game. The Phoenix Suns beat the Brooklyn Nets. They won what, 16 straight? Yeah, this is really looking really scary. Mikal Bridges had 7. This is what I'm talking about. He's doing it. Mikal Bridges in the last 2 weeks. He is the 45th ranked player, averaging 2 steals. If he can sustain at 1.4, the 2 is obviously not sustainable, but 1.4, 1.3, that would make him a top 50 player. But again, he's not for everybody. If you want to get rid of him after this huge game, if you have an inefficient team, you gotta, you lose turnovers every week. Then why you have Mikal Bridges, or you lose field goals? Look to trade. This game 7 still probably Harden throwing the ball away a lot. So let's see how many turnovers Harden had. Oh, Harden had 7. So Jay Crowder had 2 steals, 5 points. Could be a 3 and steal streamer, some rebounds as well. DeAndre Ayton versus the Nets is understandable. You will struggle because he still played 31 minutes. But again, offensively, Ayton, they don't really run many plays for him. So in order for Ayton to be good in fantasy, you got to bring the blocks. He's not, disappointing, but we would expect that. Like if we draft him in the 3rd round or 4th round, like top 50 player, he still is. Devin Booker 30 points for assists and a steal, 4 threes. Devin Booker is just the points and threes. The assists 4 is good, but in order for assists to have a higher impact, you gotta push up to 6 and 7. 1 steal is good though. Chris Paul this game turned into a scorer. He took 19 shots. So when that happens, he only gets 5 assists. This is for a lot of guys as well. Like for Harden, if he's scoring 30 points, it will be harder for him. Obviously, he's he wants to get himself going, so the assist would dip. So Chris Paul is still very solid. No steals this game. I think he's realistically like a 1.7, 1.8, 1.5 even. Because the variance is high. I don't think he's averaging he's averaged 1.4 steals in the last 2 weeks, so that's more realistic. On the season, he's probably close to 2. He had a couple games where he had like 7 or 8 swipes. Cameron Payne got his 20 minutes. This is the only guy I'm watching from the Phoenix bench. JaVale McGee is actually pretty good as well. In just 60 minutes, he had 10 rebounds and 1 block. Per minute wise, he's a monster. But we know JaVale McGee cannot play 30 minutes. Energy guy can give you 50 minutes on that. High intensity 50 minutes. For the Brooklyn Nets, another loss. KD played 44. Don't worry about his minutes. 44 minutes. Steve Nash. They were down, so they really need, because Harden was playing like shit offensively. So give KD 4 minutes. And look at this game: 4 steals and a block. If KD can do that more often, then he'll be a top 3 player. But I think we all know that he doesn't. Most games he shows no effort defensively. DeAndre Bembry is a good stream. Bruce Brown actually came back, played just 4 minutes, so that's surprising. If DeAndre Bembry, if you want to stream him the next game for some defensive stats, you still can. But I will check the schedule. Like if the Nets got a back-to-back for sure, Bembry is a guy, and James Johnson also. LaMarcus Aldridge, 18 points, 6 rebounds. Decent. But I would always look to sell because his value could go away very quickly if they just start playing Blake Griffin. Weirdly, Griffin now just gets 0 minutes now the past few games. Patty Mills played 37 minutes, only took 7 shots, so that's interesting. The Phoenix did a good job on him. He didn't really had an opportunity to get the shots off. 3 threes, a 3-point streamer until Joe Harris comes back. James Harden, 4 for 15, really bad. And you just check the highlights. You watch the game. He's just effort-wise lackluster. I don't know what he's just playing at a very slow pace, not aggressive, and shot selection may also not be the best. Also struggling from the field. But he's not really a buy low because if you look at the other stats, 13 rebound, 4 assists, steal, and 2 blocks. Like the owner is not going to trade you for peanuts. So if you got him, just hold. But yeah, I wonder, in terms of fantasy relevancy, like, is Harden gonna turn it around? Like, especially the points and threes, is he gonna turn around at some point this season, or is he gonna keep playing like this, very controlled, get a bunch of rebound and assists? He stole a lot of defensive rebound, like 11 defensive rebound. He's just grabbing all the defensive rebound as well. Let's look at the next game. The Orlando Magic. Magic is they're pretty bad, pretty rough. Mo Bamba was out this game, so Robin Lopez got 13 points and 2 blocks. I don't think it's very serious for Mo Bamba, so he should be back next game. Wendell Carter Jr. has been playing fairly well this week. 11 rebounds, 19 points, 1 3 and 2 steals. And Franz Wagner, 8 rebound is nice, 4 assists and a steal, 12, just very low end values, but still a must roster. He was actually very good. He was a +1 while his teammates were -21, 23. So he's, this loss was not on him. Jalen Suggs, 31 minutes, 4 steals. Garrett Harris also got 4 steals. So I think we can pick him up because Cole Anthony is still out. Once Cole Anthony comes back, we don't know when. Once he does, then we look at Jalen Suggs' production minutes and make decisions. For now, I think he's good enough to just hold him and see where things go. For the Cleveland Cavaliers, surprisingly, Evan Mobley was supposed to be out 2 for 4 weeks. He came back in a week and put up really good line. 9 rebounds, 4 blocks, 13 points. If his block numbers can go up to 1.7, 1.8, then he could even be a top 40, 30 player. Depend on obviously the other stats as well. But if you can block shots at this rate, you're gonna be a beast in fantasy. Really good. Lauren Markkinen, 20 points, 5 rebounds. Yeah, a must roster, but just low end values. Some rebounds, some points, and some threes. Jarrett Allen, 19 points, 11 rebounds. Allen continues to play well, especially the field goal department. If he can block more shots, that would really help his value. Isaiah Okoro, 26 minutes, not the best. And Darius Garland, 36 minutes. Darius Garland, I want to say a sell high, but because Colin Sexton is going to be out all season, he's going to be that guard that all the plays going to run through him. So I think if he can stay healthy, counting stat wise, it could be sustainable. And if you're not punting turnovers or field goal, you could look to trade him. Trade him for, ranking wise, he's not been good. Like last 2 weeks, 104th ranked player, because he doesn't really block shots. That's okay. 3.5 turnovers. That's actually not that high. 41% from the field on 22 shots. That really hurts you. I didn't realize he was taking 20, so his usage is super high. It took 22 shots, but only 22 points a game. So if the efficiency improves, then his ranking will improve. But if you're pounding field goals and turnovers, it's perfectly fine to hold him. And Ricky Rubio, I don't think we want to drop him. The fact that he took 6 shots, that's good because he was taking 20. That doesn't really help his team. And with Evan Mobley back, I think his shot attempts, but like very very solid assists and steals, a must roster, obviously. But also the minutes is a bit low. Isaiah Okoro getting some of the shooting guard minutes. That might be fitting the team a little bit better, honestly, because Darius Garland is such a small guard. And then you got Ricky Rubio. They may need some size for defensive purposes. The next game, the Miami Heat beat the Chicago Bulls. 2 Eastern Conference teams, top of the Eastern Conference teams. Jimmy Butler, great. Had 5 swipes, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 18 points. Really good game from him. Bam Adebayo, really bad game from Bam. 9 points, 6 assists, 7 rebounds, a steal. No blocks. I mean, come on, Bam. Like, you gotta get us some blocks. He's not even ranked in the. Yeah, he's not even ranked in the last 2 weeks. That's how bad he was. For the season, he's 92nd ranked player. I mean, he's a huge buy low at the moment. Huge buy low. Any top 50 guy, 40 guy, I feel pretty confident that he'll finish top 40, top 50. So maybe use a top, overperforming like a Terry Rozier, I want to say. Terry Rozier also played well last night. Try to do a 2-for-1 for him. But again, before you make the trade, make sure Bam is for your team. If you're punting threes, I would say you could use a more expensive player to get him because he really fits that punt three build. He should be providing a little bit everything like points, rebound, assist, steals, blocks, and his efficiency are good. But this is not the start that we expect out of Bam. Not great, and averaging just 0.4 blocks. Like what's going on? Career-wise, Bam. Let's see last year because he's been a starter for the last 2 years. Let's see where his block numbers are. Yeah, I mean, his second year he played 23 minutes a game, average 0.8 blocks. His first start, last 2 years, first year 1.3 blocks, last year 1 block, this year 0.4. So I think at some point he's gotta turn it around, have like that 5 block game, and that would basically double his block rate. But it's a bit frustrating the fact that he doesn't block. Duncan Robinson 4 threes, just a 3-point streamer. Kyle Lowry, really good game, 19 points, 2 steals, 6. Sometimes you have 5 points, and sometimes you have 20 points. Overall, he will have 13, 14 points. Like Chris Paul, just like mini Chris Paul, like not as efficient as Chris Paul. But the counting said obviously Chris Paul get more assists and a bit more steals, but very similar to Chris Paul. Really good. We should not ever drop Kyle Lowry, no matter how bad he plays. Gabe Vincent, interestingly, got okay. This game, Tyler Hero was out, so we know if Tyler Hero is out next time, we could think about streaming Gabe Vincent. He will have a decent enough minutes. And Max Strauss, who is this guy? Also got 31 minutes. So the fact that the Miami Heat with this lineup still beat Chicago is pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. For the Bulls, DeRozan played 40 minutes, another huge game. He's taking more field goals than Zach LaVine. Like their usage are right there, next to each other. Zach LaVine has not been good in fantasy this year, and I don't think he's gonna trend up unless he gets us some steals. And then the fact that DeRozan takes such high usage away, like I thought he should be the clear number 1 guy, but DeRozan is they are very close 1 and 2. DeRozan in the last 2 weeks 16th ranked player, and I don't know, like he might just end up being a top 30, 40. So just write it out. Like you're not gonna get a top 20 guy for him, right? So just write it out. Zach on season wise still 31st, but I don't like what Zach is doing. 46th ranked player, still averaging like he'll average close to 25 points and decent threes, but everything else is not that impressive. He had 1 steal here this game, so that's good. Vultrovich, again, continue to buy low. He's not shooting the ball well, but this game he brought the other stats: 2 steals, 2 blocks, 13 rebounds, 3 assists. The peripheral stats should still be good. Like he's not gonna average 20 points, but 15 points, 16 points, still very easy. It's very doable. Again, a buy low. Terry Rozier right now is the guy that I think is playing super well at the moment, playing out of his mind. So like he's the guy. If you got Terry Rozier, really try to target some of these guys: Vultrovich, Bam, Lonzo Ball, 11 rebounds. It's a good game from Lonzo. 3, the peripheral stats is just so good: 6 assists and a steal. Kobe White 20 minutes off the bench, didn't really do anything, while Alex Caruso went off 22 points, 6 assists. A must roster guy, mainly just the defensive stats and assists. And every once in a while, he will have the games like this where he went to the free throw line 7 times and scored 22 points. Let's go to this game was wild. Charlotte Hornets is good this year. The worst team scored 146 points, and this game went overtime. Hey, who knows? Because Jalen Green was out. Rockets play very differently with Jalen Green out. Maybe. The Charlotte Hornets, Gordon Hayward, 21 points, and again like this. If this guy plays well, sell. I look to sell him. Miles Bridges, he's fallen off a little bit. The fact that this game went to overtime, he played just 33 minutes because Kelly Oubre Jr. had it going, is not ideal. 71st ranked players. So right now, sell high window is, if you got Miles Bridges, just hold. If you want to buy low, a top 50 player, like Terry Rozier for Miles Bridges, that's something I would do. But I don't know. Maybe he's not a top 30. I thought he would be top 30. But, they got a lot of weapons on this team, and, Terry Rozier came back. Because when he was going off every game, Terry Rozier didn't play, right? And now sometimes Kelly Oubre Jr. and Cody Martin only played 15 minutes this game. Cody Martin will play 25 minutes sometimes. And PJ Washington is there playing 35 minutes because, Mason Plumlee was out. So their rotation, they got like a 7-8 man rotation, and depending on the night, I think even LaMelo Ball sometimes doesn't get that high minutes. So coach really, depend on the night, give different players different minutes. So with that in mind, I don't know. And he only took 12 shots as well. So maybe not a top 30, just a top 50 player. So we shouldn't really touch him at this point, in my opinion. PJ Washington, great. We could continue streaming him until Mason Plumlee comes back. 35 minutes, but he did play the Rockets, so he's supposed to get a lot of steals and blocks. So he got 2 each here, 13 points. Good. He's a multiple category guy, a center that can hit 3. So, if you want those, I think, he does have good upside. But the minutes is not guaranteed. Terry Rozier played 43 minutes, 31 points, a steal and a block, 5 assists, 6 threes. I think if we can get him for a top 40 or 30 player, I would. If I can get him for Bam, I would. If I can get him for, Vucevic, I would. If we were talking about top 50, I don't know. He's been playing so well lately. To me, he's like in the top 70, 80 range. But who knows? He could be a top 50. I just, like he did last year. But I think it's unlikely. Kelly Oubre Jr. played well again, but just a point streamer. Some nights we'll get 20 minutes, some nights we'll get 35 minutes. And again, depending on who's playing well, if he's playing well that day, then he'll get more minutes. For the Rockets, Garrison Matthews' picture is still in the green jersey, in the Celtic jersey, so the NBA.com needs to update that. He actually started in place of Jalen Green, played really well, 5 threes to 20 points. But I don't think we want to have anything to do with, he just hit threes, really. But everybody on the Rockets played well this game, so we should probably ignore this game. Jason Tate, not a must roster, but if you want field goal, rebound, and some defensive stats, he give you those. Christian Wood, huge game. Probably a sell high, like after this game, if you can sell him high, I think once Jalen Green comes back, Christian Wood won't have this. Jalen Green is a chucker. He doesn't do anything. So once we'll see the next few games without Jalen Green how Rockets play. But they obviously look a lot better and play a lot better without him. But it's just one game, especially Christian Wood. 33 points, 16 rebounds, 2 blocks. This is what we drafted Christian Wood in, 4th or 3rd or 4th round. This is what we, counting stats, points and rebounds, very solid. If he can bring in those blocks, that really helps his value. We know free throw is a huge issue with him. But this is a really good start from Christian Wood. Maybe this is his turning point of the season. Eric Gordon, 36 minutes, could continue to be a streamer. They are really playing him a lot. Trying to win, I think, Silas. Just trying to win. Maybe also showcasing him, 2 birds, 1 stone. Providing good enough points and threes. Kevin Porter Jr. played 42 minutes. The free throw is a concern, 6 for 10. But I don't think he's a 60% free throw shooter. Maybe 70, 75. 8 rebounds, 12 assists. Counting stat-wise, very solid. So if he got dropped on the waiver, I think he's a must roster. He's not for everybody, but somebody in your league should probably roster him if they're pounding field goals or free throws or turnovers. If they're pounding all 3, he's obviously a must roster. Şengün owner is probably happy the fact that Daniel Theis is out of the rotation now, but it's actually gotten worse, right? He's playing the backup center minutes. So Christian Wood is going to get 33 minutes. That means he only gets to play 15, 16 minutes. Now that Daniel Theis is out of the picture. Are they gonna play him alongside Christian Wood? I think they would at some point, but Silas right now is not doing that. So if you want to drop Christian Wood, not Christian Wood, Şengün, that is perfectly fine. I think. One night maybe Silas would just turn around and say, "Hey, play Şengün 25 minutes." So just gotta monitor him. Who knows? That may never come this season. The next game, the Washington Wizards beat the Dallas Mavericks 120-114. KCP played well. Again, he's been such a beast in the past 2 weeks. Getting the steals, scoring a bunch. 64th ranked player, averaging 13 points and 1.4 steals, shooting 48% and making 2.4 threes. So a lot of things are not sustainable. If you can get him for any value, you could, or otherwise just write it out. He might his minutes on this team are good. It's just the production, should not consistent like this. Kyle Kuzma, 22 points, pretty good game from Kuzma against the Mavericks team, and they got the win though. That's also great. Daniel Gafford continues. That's why things could change just like that. 2 games ago, Harrell was playing 28 minutes, putting up top 50 values, and look who is putting up top 50 values now. Daniel Gafford, and his minutes is up. So these guys, the value just could change so quickly. Daniel Gafford probably sell high, if you can get, a top 70, 60 value for Daniel Gafford. And again, next game, who knows? He's in some foul trouble playing 15 minutes, and Harrell comes in playing 30. That could happen. Every single game, that could happen. But this game, again, really good. 10 rebounds, 2 blocks, 14 points, and super good efficiency. Bradley Beal still hasn't had that one explosion game in a while. And his rankings is really, really bad. To me, he should be a top 15 player per game basis. He's nowhere near that. So we'll see. This is a good start. 26 points. Shot the ball well. 7 assists and 2 steals. And Harrell, if you want to hold him, that's fine. But he could be droppable. He could continue to do this for 2 weeks. Have just 20 minutes. But if you want to hold him, you really love the field goals, I guess that's okay. For the Dallas Mavericks, Luka Doncic came back, had a pretty big game counting stats-wise, but again, no defensive stats and 4-for-7. So this is going to be a thing moving forward. He's just not a great free throw shooter. Not a great shooter, to be honest. But the playmaking, he always step it up in the playoffs. Those are very, very impressive. But his efficiency got to improve. Got to work on his free throws. Just, leaving a lot of points on the board. Tim Hardaway Jr. hit 2 threes, 3 steals. Can be a streamer. The minutes is really good. And Kristaps Porzingis, he's healthy. He's playing, struggled a little bit. But 3 steals and a block is still very, very solid. He is playing super well. If you want to sell him, try. But if you can get a top 20 player back, why sell him? Just hold. If you sell him for a top 35 or 40 player, I don't really like it. Top 20, sure. Dorian Finney-Smith could be a defensive streamer and some rebounds. Play 28 minutes here. And I think I want to pay some attention to Maxi Kleber. His minutes, 30 minutes here, playing center position. He has the upside because he blocks shots, he hit threes like a Brook Lopez. So I want to see if he can put together few games with close to 30 minutes. Then I could consider streaming him, at least. Let's go to the next game, the last game of the night. The Jazz and Platinum, they played each other yesterday, and they lost by 1 point. That was really ugly, and they lost to the worst team. So they picked it up this game. Was a blowout. Game was over by the third quarter. At the half, to be honest. 127-104. So all the starter minutes were pretty low. Herbert Jones, I think we have to pick him up. There are some. Obviously Zion's still out, but he played 26 minutes again, and he has been getting so many defensive stats. He had 4 steals here, and I believe his last game, 126 ranked player, sure, in the last 2 weeks, but he's averaging two steals and 0.8 blocks. It's kind of like a Matisse Thybulle. Yeah, him and Matisse Thybulle defensively providing a lot. And if he can get consistent 30 minutes, I guess it's possible that, in the short term he'll get 30 minutes until Zion comes back. When Zion comes back, I don't think he will start. They're probably still going to find some minutes for him. Because now they're making Nickeil Alexander-Walker coming off the bench. So Nickeil losing some minutes there, and Herbert Jones coming in. They need some defense, I suppose, because Brandon Ingram is back. They already have the firepower for they really need some Josh Harden and Herbert Jones. So I don't know. I would, if he's out on the waiver wire, I would definitely pick him up and just hold and see what the situation is, because he's been blocking a lot of shots as well. Brandon Ingram, what else is new? He had one block here, so that's good. Inefficient. I feel like he's gonna be a headache to him, because really the only thing he's really giving you is the points, and that's it. Vultrovich, 22 minutes, a decent game, because it was a blowout, so the minutes are pretty low across the board. But in the last 2 weeks, he was not a top 30 player. He's 109th ranked, so he's fallen off. But this game was a blowout, so can understand. Only averages to 28 minutes a night. So just hold him, just hold him. Josh Hart, 6 points. Nobody played well on the Pelicans team other than Herbert Jones, I suppose, had four steals. Still a hold, I think, in my opinion. The minutes is very high, playing 35 plus minutes a night. Devontae Graham, yeah. And Willie Hernan-Gomez, would you believe that? In 18 minutes, he put up a decent line, 10 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists. But with Vultrovich, I don't think, we wanna stream him. Most nights, unless you're predicting a blowout, I think there will be better options out there. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker, I think he's still a hold. I think. Gotta give him a few more games just to see the minutes. Like if the next 3 games the minutes is like below 25 minutes, then I'll think about moving him. See who's out there on the waiver wire. For the Jazz, easy win. Bogdanovich had 11 points and Joe Ingles started because Royce O'Neal was out. Had a decent game. And Mike Conley played a back-to-back. Would you look at that? 20 points, decent. Donovan Mitchell, a good game in just 27 minutes, plus 25. He played pretty poorly last game in their loss. So he was like, okay, let me turn it up. 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals on the block. Mitchell's steal numbers this year has been really good. If he can, like I said many times, if he can be a 1.5 steals person, that really helps his value. Rudy Gobert, easy win, 8 rebounds, a steal, and 2 blocks. And Rudy Gay, first game was super good, but I don't think his minutes will push up ever to 25 minutes a night consistently. Some nights, he's playing well, maybe he'll get 25 minutes. Most nights he won't. Jordan Clarkson took 13 shots in 25 minutes, 20 points. Could be a points and 3 streamer, and that's it. And that's it, guys. I will see you tomorrow.